Welcome back in my YouTube channel today. Today I'm coming back with a new topic. I'll not say it's a new topic. Basically, this is the very common topic which we use, which we study, which we understand very easily, which we find it in many areas of our industry. That is called the incident management. Today I'm coming up with the complete out of the box demonstration of incident management in ServiceNow. Plus, from the ITL perspective, I'll bring it to you that how the incident management process actually work. So I prepared a workflow as well for the same, a process workflow, which I'm going to be demonstrate, and then I will take you into the ServiceNow. But before I start that all the demo and all the process flow, let me tell you that what do you mean by the incident. If I speak a layman language, incident means if I purchase something and that is not working up to the mark, it giving me some issues, it's an incident for me. Normal example, my kid buy a toy from market and it is not working as expected. It means when I put the all keys or all the batteries in that, it should work in a speed manner, but it is not working. So that is an incident. If it is a branded toy, definitely you can raise a complaint. You can raise a issue. You can raise something which can be called as an incident here. In the same manner, in our IT industry as well, we have this concept. We all are working in some of the IT industries where we know that how this incident management is so much important. I'm working in an office, my laptop is not working properly. I log an incident in my portal to my IT department that my laptop is not working. They will call me and they will fix my issue. So multiple things are there. So we will discuss these things in very detail now. Okay. But in short, if I say as per the ITL definitions, as per the proper standard definition, incident means any interruption in services is called the incident. Okay. Now let me take you as a process flow diagram, and then after that we will go for the ServiceNow demonstration. Okay. So this is a process flow which I created so that I can show you that okay how the incident management work. Let me put 125 as a degree for the percentage for the zooming. Okay, so I created this diagram, I created this process flow majorly in 3 swim lanes. Number 1, that is customer or the user. It means I can say what are the inputs for my incident management. Second is my service desk or the L1, and third is basically my resolver group, where I can say L2, L3, anyone you can include in that particular area. In many of the company, in many of the processes where I work, in many of the accounts where I work, they have a different criteria as well. Someone say it should be 2 by 2 swim lane, like I should have something here as well, a matrix format or the table format. But to make it very simple, because I want that everyone who is watching my video should be able to understand that what is the incident management. Okay. So these are the inputs that a customer or a user is required to log the incident. So an incident can be created, or input specifically event management is one of the key trigger for the incident management. Your change management is the another trigger to initiate the incident management. If any change fail in production, an incident will be raised. No matter it is a P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, no matter for me as of now. But for me, that okay, in case any change got fail in production, my incident will be created. Then if you are a user, you can log an incident via service portal. Definitely in our IT industries, in our companies, we have a service portal available where we can go and log the incident. I can log an incident via email as well. I can just send an email to a specific email ID. It will be created. I can call to the service desk and they can log an incident on my behalf. I can visit them. A specific example I can say it's a walk-up experience. I can visit to a specific place. I can visit to my IT department and say, hey buddy, this laptop is not working. Can you fix it for me? Even I can log an incident over the chat as well. Nowadays we have automation bots available. We have a virtual agents available who can log an incident for you if they are not able to resolve at your end. Okay, so by these are the triggers where the incident has been generated. Then I come to the service desk and L1, that what are the role and responsibility, what are the process activity a service desk agent or L1 support need to do. Once an incident has been logged into the port into ServiceNow by any of the means, I can say it will be go into the open state. Again, I'm telling you all these things as per my experience. Okay, it doesn't mean that for every company it will be open only. It can be in some of the company, it can be new as well. Again, it depends from business to business, customer to customer. Okay, then when it go, the L1 agent will see is it actually incident or it is a request. Let's take example. I log a incident. I'm just a fresher in my industry. I log a incident. I need headphone. Please help me. It is not an incident. It is actually a service request. So my L1 or my service desk agent will evaluate that part and say if it is not look like an incident, they will move this to the request management and my process of incident will be over here. These are the sub processes I can say. Okay, if they say no, it is the incident only, let's see, it is a complaint or a feedback. Suppose I send an email, thanks for your helping to me, my issue has been resolved. So it's not an incident, it is just a general feedback I am sending to IT department. So if this is the case, then it will go to the customer complaint or the escalation processes so that they can improve their part if you want to escalating that part. If these two cases are not there, then it will go to the actual place that is called the logging and categorization. These are the 2 or 3 major steps. Now number 1, that incident logging and the categorization has been done, means now I can understand, okay, this is actually an incident for me. I'm acknowledge this as a service desk agent. Once I acknowledge by seeing the short description or the attached evidence, I do the priority determination that it is a P1, it is a P2, it is a P3, it is a P4. Because if you are an end user and you call to service desk, for you every incident is always a P1. You can take a general example. Suppose my internet is not working on my mobile phone. Okay, I call to Vodafone or Airtel or Tata or Docomo, any customer representative. I call to them. I said, please raise a high priority ticket for me. But they are in the background will determine actually that it is a P1, P2, P3 or P4. So I am doing the acknowledgement there. But if it is a P1, suppose it is a P1, then it go to particular decision matter here, that it is a major incident as well or not. Maybe your in your area internet is completely down, and that is the reason you are not able to access internet on your mobile phone. When you call to that particular customer provider or service provider, they say, sorry sir, we already running a P1 on the same. So what they will do, they will add or they will link your incident to the major incident and a major incident process will be initiated. For the major incident part, that how it's work, I already created a video on in my channel, so you can go and understand the complete out of the box functionality on the same part. Now take example that it is not a major incident. It means either it can be P2, P3, P4 or P1, but it is not a MI. I am again repeating my words. These are the things which are vary from industry to industry. These are the things which are vary from company to company, project to project, account to account. For one of my previous experience says that they say P1 is not a major incident until unless they will put a specific flag is called the major incident. So, but in some cases, even in one of my previous experience, P2 is also considered as a major incident. So I'm again repeating my words that it is totally depend from project to project. Then once you done that part, you come for the initial diagnosis. It means a incident will or the service desk agent will be start working on that part. It will move to that particular incident into the work in progress. Okay, and to working on a ticket, to working on an incident, he required a help of the knowledge base. That particular service desk agent will start looking after knowledge articles, some knowledge documents is already exist or not, so that he or she can see that if these type of issue already occurred, what fix we done for that part. So that is I'm putting as a two-way, because it can be both way it can be worked upon. So it is a knowledge base for me, which a agent can, which a service desk executive can take a help and resolve the issue. Can resolve the issue. I'm not saying it's 100% resolved. Suppose he done the initial diagnosis, he moved the incident to the work in progress, and finally he say yes, it has been fixed now. So it will put fix here, that is resolved. If say yes, they are waiting for the customer resolution here. Okay, they are waiting for the customer resolution. So it will go back to the inform customer. It is again, okay, let me tell you that why I put this particular, let me a little bit, yep. Okay, so now you can see, now you see that I put this resolution on the in between of L1 and L2 team. I'll tell you that why I put this thing basically. Now if I say okay, let's get a confirmation from the user, it send an email to the user here. Okay, I'll come to this portion little later, please wait for a minute. Okay, they send an email to the customer that boss, your issue has been resolved at our end, please let me know your feedback. So I scroll up and it go to the customer base. See here, it go here in the customer swim lane and try to see. Okay, once customer say yes, my issue has been resolved, I am happy with the resolution, so my L1 team mark it as a resolved in the system. And now the question come for my L1 team that do they want a problem record need to be open for the same? If yes, they will initiate the problem management process. If no, the process will be end, my incident will be moved to the close state. Again, in many of the industry, I saw this experience, I saw this practice that no, never ever service desk executive are prefer to close any incident. They say resolve the incident, and after 5 days, 7 days, the incident will be moved to the close state automatically. If customer is not happy, like let's see here, then it will again go back to the one work in progress. Okay, and again it will go back to the L1 again, and then they say okay. If they are again not able to resolve it, suppose L1 says sorry, I cannot resolve this, then they will assign the ticket or escalate the ticket to the L2 or L3 team. L2, L3 team pick up that incident, they will acknowledge it or accept it. Okay, we accepted, yes, this is the incident which we received from you, let me start working on that part. In the P9, let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, in the P9 they start working on the fixing of that particular part. Now to fix that issue, maybe they require the vendor support, or maybe if they find the resolution, maybe they need to go for the change management process. Okay, if it is a vendor management, they will log a ticket for the vendor, then they can do the needful at their end. But if it is change management, then definitely you can go for the change management practice. Once this both has been done, they finally update here, resolution awaiting user confirmation. The email will go to this particular to the user or the customer, and then finally we wait for the customer resolution. So this is the high level process, I can say, that incident management work. Very simple. If I want to repeat it in a quick manner, that suppose your kid was playing with a toy and that toy is not working, he come to you. Okay, you ask him, okay, what is the issue? He says, I need a new toy. Sorry buddy, it's not an incident, it's a request, let me proceed, wait for the 2 or 3 days, I'll do that part. He say, Dad, this toy is very good, he's sharing the feedback, it is actually not an incident. Then you move to the customer and complaint escalation. But he say, Dad, you bought this toy for me, but it is not working when I put the batteries and click on or switch on the button. Then you start logging, oh, it is not working, let me see that. You categorize that, did you put in the water? No. Did you put anything on the heated? No. Okay, let me see. Then he categorize. It means when I say determine the priority, it means being a dad, I am just seeing that can I solve it now, or can I keep it for the 2 days? But beta or the kid, I'm little busy now, let wait for the weekend, I'll do that part for you. Then you can decide the priority. He said, no, I have this toy only, I want it fixed immediately. Or you also know that if this is not fixed now, this will be a great problem in the later on for you. So you can decide the things accordingly. If Once you decide this particular section, then you start working on the diagnosis. You open the toy, you see, okay, this is not working, his battery is fine, you get some new batteries, you put the new battery, clean up the battery spaces, all the things you done. And once you done your part, you say, okay, now try. You ask your kid, okay, now you try. You are waiting for the awaiting customer confirmation, waiting for your kid to be reply back. You call your kid, okay, or you can say, son, I fix your toy problem, you can issue or incident, you can go and try it. Your kid start using that toy again. If it is working after putting the battery as you done that part and click or switch on the button, he say, yes papa, I'm happy and it has been done. Then you can take a relief. But you also think that do you need a problem record for the same? You means that do you need to be actually log this problem to the customer care? Because maybe this is a one toy you are facing and you buy the toys from that brand only. If no, then close. If your son says, sorry, it's not working, that need to be fixed again, then what you do? Then you say, okay, let me go out in the evening to the mechanic and then I'll fix it for you. Then you go to the mechanic here. They say, okay sir, let me check. They say, okay, give me 1 day, by tomorrow I'll update you. In the 1 day they start investigation. Maybe they change some parts, or maybe they say when you go tomorrow, or they call you in the between, sir, this toy we cannot fix, you need to go to the authorized service center only because it is still in the warranty. Better you go there or fix it. Or they ask you, do you want us to be fix it by our end as per the vendor part? You said yes. They fix it. After 2 days or 3 days they ask you and say, okay, collect your toy. You go, you bring the toy back to home, you give it to your son confirm, and then finally that incident has been resolved. Okay, so this is the way that incident will be taken care in a ServiceNow. Okay, again, few things I'm putting as a disclaimer here. This is the normal practice which I think a basics one which I found, which I learned, which I experienced in my previous organizations. I put it here. It can be 100% work for you, it cannot be 100% work for you as well. So don't say or don't think that it is not up to the mark. Definitely it is just a basic one for the understanding perspective. Okay, now I come to the next part that is important from the ServiceNow perspective. If you understand this part, let me open my ServiceNow instance. Okay, so when I say open my ServiceNow instance, so basically I am treating myself as the end user and I will raise the incident from the portal. I'll tell you that how many ways a user can log a incident. Even though in my instance I did not configure the email account as of now, so I'll not do this part, but other things I can show that if you are in the service portal, I can go here, get help, and here I will log a incident. Okay, let me scroll down and get it here. Create incident. I go here. And I can only put the urgency, that how quickly I need this fix. I say it's a P2 for me. My kid toy is not working. Please fix it ASAP. Seems to be a battery issue. Okay. And now if you want, see, as soon as you start writing all these short description for the end user as well, we have a functionality in ServiceNow that the related search or related articles come into the picture. If you find okay, this can helpful, that's fine. Even you can attach any screenshot as well here and then click on the submit. So this is the first way that it is be always good to educate your end users to log an incident only and only from the service portal. Number 1 point. Second point, let me copy this and show you a few basic stuff of this incident. Okay, I can go here and I can click and enter here. Okay, so few things which I want to tell you here specifically is that number 1, this is your incident number, company, because I am a user who logged in here as a functional trainer. My company is ServiceNow. This is my caller name, and this is my open by net. I'm requesting this on my behalf or for me only. Why it's showing the contact type as a self-service? Because I am logging this incident from the service portal. All these things you can fix it. All these settings, all this configuration you can do in your ServiceNow in the record producer specifically. You can fix all this stuff. You can write the scripts that what value should be mapped to which particular field. Okay, by default or at the beginning it will go to the new state. Category as I fix as out of the box inquiry or help. Then urgency I put 2, you can see urgency I put 2, so urgency is coming 2 for me. On the basis of the urgency, by default I set up the impact as a 3 and priority as a 4, and short description and description are coming here. Okay, so this is the first way. This is the number one way that end user can log an incident. Now the second point, suppose you are a fulfiller and you are getting a call from us, you are getting a call from the user. Then how you can create? You can go here incident. Okay, let me search, yep, and click on the create new here. I click here and create new, and then you are on the call with that particular person. You are on the call with that particular caller. Okay, company name I am calling from the ServiceNow company. Let me bring like this. Okay, now it's coming. Sorry guys, little latency is there. Let me put any other company then. All here, and then I can put, okay, let me put ACM Australia. Caller, let me put able tutor, or let me put any user under that. Okay, let me put Chi Greenwall. Location I can put if required, otherwise out of the box it is coming, or the basis of the user it will coming as a location. Category I can change. Let me put category as a hardware. Subcategory I can put it's a keyboard issue. Configuration item, specifically incident required a configuration item that okay, on this particular configuration of CI I'm facing this issue. So let me put something here for the configuration item if I can get. Okay, I can put MacBook Air 3. Impact urgency, I'm all these things I'm getting from the customer. Okay, what, how much or what is the urgency for you? He say I'm facing a it should be P2 or P1. Okay, you urgency are putting a, sorry, I'm putting high. I know impact can be low, it's a 1% impact only, so my priority come automatically. Contact type, that person calling me, so it's a phone as a contact type. State as of now I'm just putting as a new, and here I can put laptop issue, memory lack. Okay, and I can put Control C, and I'm just putting a Control V, and I say okay. I just reply back to that user, incident has been raised on your behalf, Mr. Chi Greenlaw. Your incident number is INC 0010017 is there. Will keep you updated on that part. Okay. Now suppose this incident has been logged into the system. Let me go back to my incident because I can show you that how you can interact with the end user as well. So I'm just opening my incident. There's nothing wrong, I can do it here as well, but I want to show you some connections between these two things. Okay, so now you can go here. Being a L1 user, I can say being a service desk agent, first I need to be assigned this ticket to my name. Let me say I'm assigning to batch 3. This is my I can say batch only, Farah. I'm assigning to Farah. Okay, suppose my name is Farah, I'm assigning to myself. Let me click on the save. Now what I can do on that incident, number one part, I have a short description here. Let me see that is any article available for this short description. Okay, I have a install base, Mac, restore, upgrade. Let's see. Okay, I have this incident, or maybe I can utilize this particular knowledge article. Okay, I click on this knowledge article. Guys, here you need to be put little attention. Don't get confused. I am telling you the end-to-end process for incident management, that how a service desk executive actually use ServiceNow in day out. So suppose I find a solution by reading this article. Okay, so it is my responsibility as a service desk executive to make sure that I mark this article as a help, so that it will go a feedback to my knowledge manager. Okay, I want to attach this particular article to my particular incident, so that I can tell my user that boss, by following this article your issue get fixed, or I fix it for you. Okay, now if you see here, as soon as I click on that, in the additional comments under customer visible, my particular document has been linked. Okay, and now I just click on the save here. It means this document link will go to my customer. Now I come to my portal and you can see here. From here someone reply on my incident, and being an end user, suppose I'm an end user here, I can see okay, this has been done. Okay, thanks for KB, let me check. Because I want to communicate with my service desk executive as well, right? Who is the time nowadays to call? People are communicating on these means only. I click on the post. As I click on the post, let me go here and you can see the feedback, the comments has been added here. Now let's take example, you or Farha. Let's take Farha as example here. Farha done with the task. According to her, this issue has been resolved. She can click on the resolve here. But before I resolve, I want to tell you little more important points in the incident form. Okay, if you scroll down, you can see here your task SLA has been attached. Number 1 point. Okay. Number 2 point, you can add multiple CIs, multiple impacted services. In this, you can find out business services, application services, or the configuration item here. You can add multiple configuration item here. Okay. If you want to add any ticket under this ticket as a child, you can add that part. The biggest benefit is that, suppose let me edit a incident here, and that incident should be in the in progress, because I want to show you something that is available ServiceNow out of the box. Let me filter out state. You can definitely do the filtration here as well. Incident state is in progress, and I click on the run filter. Okay, let me add this file. Click here and save. When I click on the save, all these incident will become the child incident for this. See, it means for these incident, number 16 is the parent incident, number 1 point. Okay, now if you see, all are the in progress. Okay, now let me move this ticket to the on hold for a time being. Maybe I am waiting for confirmation. I am waiting for some more R&D to be done. I am putting this ticket on hold. What is the on hold reason? I say I am awaiting from a vendor. Okay, let me put some comment here. Need inputs from vendor, and post it, and let me click on the save. Okay, so this ticket go on hold. Number 1 point. 2nd point, you can see here is that all my child incident will become the on hold. That is the cascading effect of ServiceNow. I can see here. There is an inheritance I can see here. So when you create a parent and child relationship, when you are running a major incident, you can make all other incident as a child, and once you done any changes on the parent, it will update it in the child as well. Let me show you on this one. Let's open this, and I can show you something in the comment section. See what they are saying. They are saying that work not copy from the parent incident, need input from the vendor. It means I make a change on this incident, okay, and all my child incident has been done. You can add any security incident as well, or you can create any security incident by this thing. I activated a plugin for this. It is not coming as out of the box. I activated the plugin for this, that is called the security incident. You can activate that plugin and then you will get this UI action on the top. Let me click on the create security incident. Maybe it is something which can impact my business. So now you can see it's done and a lot of changes has been done. See, business impact has been calculated. Aggregate from service calculator, business impact is 2. So they make it as an impact 2. We have a 3, but they have make it as a 2 here. And then if you can scroll down, my incident has been created here. You can see here. See, if I open it, this is a complete out of the box functionality given by ServiceNow. As of now, I'm not going to discuss anything on the security incident. You can see it is coming from S and SI. So another particular incident has been raised for my security perspective. It means specifically when you guys are working on the data, I can say specifically on the data part, then you require a lot of things to be discussed on the security incident. Okay, as of now, I'm not going in that particular area. Let's go back to our normal incident here. Okay, so this is the one thing. Second point which is important to understand here is that if you scroll up, you can see 2 more tabs here. Number 1 is that related records. This is the parent for these 5 incidents. But what is the parent for this incident? So I can define any parent incident here as well. Let me say that number 12 is the parent incident for the 16. Do you want to attach any problem record for the same? Yes, I can attach any problem record. Maybe this is already, it's a non-issue for me. I know this problem is open, so I want to link that problem record. I can do that part. If you remember, you can see here where we can go, yeah, that when we say it's a required a change, then you can add a change request. Okay, let me add any change request here as well. CHG number 3, caused by change. Why? That is what I'm saying, that the change management is the input as well and the output as well. Change management, your change has been failed. This incident has been raised because one of the change has been failed in the production system. I can say number 8. And now I click on the save. Suppose I got an update from my customer and I want to remove this on hold here. Okay, I click it. Let me show you one more thing if I can find. Okay, view. Okay, view is also important point, that how you want to see these things. Okay, maybe I can just show you 1 or 2 view here, and as of now I'm on the default view, and I can show you, maybe we can see something on the password not self-service, kind of a major incident view. Let me show you some different views. Okay, so views also play a very important role to be understand. So you can see multiple fields has been gone from here, you can see, but a lot of things are already available here. So views, again, a different way to look out in the particular incident. So I can put just one default view as of now, because generally a fulfiller group always use a default view. Now I'll bringing back this to the in progress only and click on the save. Okay, if I can find, okay, incident communication affected services. Okay, fine. So here one more thing available, or more related list available, that is called the metric part. Let me show you if I can add that part, configure and related list. Why these are important? Because these are required for a incident manager to understand, and that is basically breakdown. If I got it, that's fine. Otherwise, need to be identified again. It's a metric basically they can use, or I can see by metric. Yes, metrics. Let me add this metrics here and click on the save here. Let's see if I found some results or not. Okay, so I'm adding a new related list in my incident. Okay, yes, I got a metric here. Okay, so now this is the metric which you can see that how much time has been spent by which particular team, by which particular agent on that incident. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let me resolve this incident. I click on the resolve. When I click on the resolve, these two are the mandatory, resolution code and resolution nodes. Guys, was just one thing, I did not do any customization here. I just activated this as a plugin and added this as an extra one. I put a resolution code, I say solved workaround, it has been fixed, and now I click on the save. My incident has been marked closed now. So you can see it has been resolved now, and I can go to my portal here, and now you can see need input from the vendor, and now I'm getting option as a resolved here. Being a end user, I have two things. I need to take the action on this part. Okay, either I can close it, or either I'll keep it like open. If I make it as a close, then incident will be marked closed automatically in the background as well, which I don't want to do. I want to show you something, then I'll do that part. Okay, in our industry, in our projects, we have a practice that a incident should be auto closed after 5 days, or after 6 days, after 7 days. Okay, from where these configurations coming? That is coming from the properties. Let me show you that properties here. Let me search properties. Okay, customer, and I can go, yep, incident properties here. Okay, and let's search for the C, number of days after which resolved incident should go to the automatically closed. So the day you will mention here, your ticket will be get closed automatically. I can say okay, it should be 2 days only. So after 2 days, this incident will be marked as a close. Okay, even though you can define some more properties. Close open incident task when incident has been closed. Close open incident communication plan when incident has been closed. So multiple things you can do it at your end. Let me put as a 2 here and save it. And now, being an end user, I am happy with the services, and I am going to mark this ticket as a close. This has been permanently closed. Now if I go here and open this incident, then you can see that incident has been marked as a closed here. Okay, and all other things are be closed. Incidents, all the things you can see here has been marked grayed out here. Okay, because I am logging with the admin, that is I can able to see these things or enable these things, but being an ITIL user, this is not allowed. Okay, now a lot of things which I want to show you. If I open the properties here, let me open the properties in the second tab. Okay, a few things which we observe, that copy incident and the create the child incident, that is again coming from the properties. Enable copy incident feature, it means this thing. If you click here, copy incident, this is coming because this has been marked as a tick box true. Create child incident feature, it means this thing which I can see here, this thing. That is the reason that it's coming from that particular area. Copy attachment from original incident. If you want to copy this particular incident, then attachment also get copied to the new incident. These things are coming from these kind of properties. So major thing is that basically you can all see that what should become in the service offering, what should become in the impacted services here. Your CMDB underscore CI services should become there. Okay, list of the attributes come in the affected CIs, means which value, which table you want to map it into this. It is coming only and only from the properties you can see here. Okay, so now let me go back here, and then you can do all these things which you want to be do in your properties part. Okay, so this is the way that basically a incident management work in the ServiceNow as out of the box available. Okay, so guys, I'm sure that you like my video. If you like, please put some comments so that it will give a motivation to me, it will give a confidence to the other users, other viewers, other people who are watching my video. And always believe, and I always believe in a simple motto that learn and grow together. Definitely I'm coming back with more new videos, more new concepts, or basics concepts of ServiceNow, and will upload as soon as possible. Thank you so much guys. Stay at home, stay safe. Thank you. Bye bye.